is just incredible. It's so varied. So we've got something for everybody. We've got a massive healing field with Dolores Carhill, obviously yourself. We've got Ivor Cummings, who's going to be there as well. We've got a big health hub. They're going to be doing, Dolores and Edward Fitzgerald are going to be doing body scans and sort of diagnostics for people. We've got a homeopathy tent, we've got healers. So that's about half the festival. That's, you know, for people that aren't really there to sort of enjoy the music and party, they can do that. And then the other side of the festival, we've got just an incredible live band lineup. And being a musician myself, I want to get different genres of music. So I don't just want the political kind of, we're going to stick the vaccine up our arse kind of, you know, thing. I want good quality music. So we've got a really good balance of those sort of political singers and really good quality, proper musicians that play really beautiful instruments. And then we've got the speakers as well. So if you look at the festivals at the moment, particularly, I'm not going to diss any speakers live or anything, or any festivals, but we've got speakers and bands, and a lot of them have got either or. And we've got an amazing lineup of really well-known speakers and comedians. We've got Abby Roberts, Aidan Killian, Katie Hopkins, Chris Guy's coming from Canada. We've got Ramesh, who's the rapper, very famous rapper. So just, you know, and the DJs, we've got Slipmat, the DJ, we've got Chris Cooks from Carry On Camping. Yeah, just, you know, there's something for everyone. And there'll be, yeah.
But it's not just that though, it's the vibe that we're going to be giving as well. I mean, it's all in the name, sounds beautiful. Well, what we're going to do is we want people to come there and actually make new friends, family, but also just make themselves feel better within what's going on in the world at the moment. So we've got loads of things going on within the actual grounds itself as well. We are talking to people able to do the fire and LED lights, and we've just got such a massive broad spectrum of things going on. So hopefully it can bring everyone together and just forget about everything for 4 days. Obviously they're going to go in and see all the speakers, and they're going to get a lot of stuff thrown at them, but at the same time it's done in a way that they're able to be relaxed about it. They're able to meet people with the same wavelength and the same thought process, and just be able to have general conversations really, and feel relaxed about it, instead of, like, you know what it's like, you go and speak to any Joe Public and you don't have that connection, whereas you've got 4 days of being connected with everyone who's there to enjoy themselves, meet new friends, make new families, just become one really. Even with like some of the artists, they also do music at 432 hertz as well. So it's like the original healing music as well, and that also includes some of the rappers like Ryan Saunders used to be coming. All his music's done at 432. So it's not just like you've got the healing fields, but at the same time you've got healing music, but it's up to date music. So we're trying to bring obviously the older generation, but also trying to bring in some newer generation into it as well.
Yeah, inspire the younger generation, definitely, because we find we run the BCA, well, Steve particularly runs the BCA, the Bournemouth Community Assembly meeting, which has been going since the beginning of the pandemic, and that really attracts sort of the older generation, which is great, but we don't see many younger faces. So we really, with this kind of music, we're hoping to really inspire and draw them in as well, and get them, because it's their future, you know, that we're looking at and trying to promote, you know, a better future for them. Obviously, it's about them, because we're all getting older. We've got to make a better world for them. I just wanted to say something about discussion, you know, because we've got such a variety of speakers, and really we've got a lot of panels and interviewers. And we'd like as many people who are at the festival, who are performing and being there, such as you in your capacity, to come and really be interviewed by the panels and let the public ask the questions that they want to ask, so they can find out about everybody there.
Yeah, because we've got a company called Three Seeds who are going to be doing a documentary about it, but also they're going to be doing interviews at the same time with some of the main guests and acts as well. So yeah, so like Wendy was saying, it just means that the general public can ask some questions that they may have and have had bubbling away, and they may be able to get it out in the open there and then. Because it's all about discussions, isn't it? As soon as you stop having a conversation with someone, that's when trouble normally happens. Like a marriage. When you're in a marriage, as soon as conversations stop, that's when the trouble normally arises. And that's what's happening within the world. We're all being divided, and there's no conversation being able to have. No one's able to ask the questions because they feel that they shouldn't be able to, or shouldn't, because it's going to cause too much of a problem. So hopefully we can have the right environment that people will be able to do that.
Tell me a little bit about the environment. Is it a beautiful piece of land with nice trees to shelter under and stuff?
Yeah,
it's stunning.
It's stunning. Yeah.
We're not putting the venue out publicly yet. We're saying a Dorset estate, but we will obviously tell people that buy tickets where it is. We did put it out and we've withdrawn it because we just want to keep it protected. But we can tell you what it looks like. So we've been there quite a lot. The landowner is lovely and he's really supportive of what we're doing. He's not necessarily on the same page, but he's full free speech. So he really understands where we're coming from, which is great. So it's about a 15-acre estate. It's got some very old woodlands there, protected woodlands. And the site itself is nestled between two woodlands. So the DJ stage is actually between these woodlands, so it will absorb the sound. So if you're not a fan of DJ music, you won't be bombarded. You know, there'll be quiet side of the camp as well, and it should absorb it. There's a lake which is beautiful to look at, but obviously we're not going in it for health and safety reasons.
There's a stone circle as well.
Yeah.
Which is actually mapped out. The stone's a place where stars are, which is right by the healing tents as well.
I've been to several festivals that have had lakes and rivers and people swim in them. I've not.
Yeah. I mean, this one looks nice, but we have been warned that it may look nice on the top, but about 6 to 7 inches down is mainly soot. So as soon as you dive in there, you're just going to get covered with mud.
And algae.
Yeah, and algae.
It looks nice, but I wouldn't swim in it.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
And how many people will come? You know, what's the number of people that you want?
3,000.
Right. Oh,
that's what we'd like. I mean, that's fine. Well, it's 2,500 tickets and 500 staff, acts, and stuff like that. So in total, ideally, we want 3,000 people to be on site for the 4 days.
But sounds attractive enough.
Well, yeah, hopefully it'll be well. I mean, the site itself as well is also, when the festivals aren't there, it's also used as a healing centre anyway. So the whole thing is just all about healing. And it's definitely something what everyone needs for sure at the moment.
There's a beautiful energy there, and just around the corner from the site, there's a very old church called Knowlton Church, which is used for meditations on the solstices, and it has a very powerful energy. We've been told it's on ley lines, but I'm trying to research more about that, because as far as I can tell on the ley line map, it doesn't quite add up. But I'm going to go back and research it, because I've been told 3 times now by people, oh, it's an intersection of ley lines, so it's got very powerful energy, which is exciting. And also then last summer, there were northern lights there, which you could see. We can't promise they'll be there during the festival, but it would be nice if they were, which is why on our website we have the northern lights over that church, because it's something that happened. So very exciting.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a nice 4 days. And the dates.
27th to 30th of June.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
Thursday
well,
through to Sunday.
It's on the same weekend as Glastonbury.
So who wants to go there now?
Yeah. I mean, Glastonbury was originally all about freedom, but it's kind of lost its way a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, Glastonbury is an amazing festival, but at the same time, it's kind of lost its way in the corporate side of things.
I'd much rather see your acts in with 3,000 people than going to Glastonbury with 500,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's something very special about the way the site's laid out. It kind of keeps everyone together. So there's enough space for everybody, especially in the camping fields. The camping fields are huge, but the site itself is quite together. So, we'll keep everyone in, it will feel like a really good gathering of people. So whether we had, 400, 1,000, 2,500, whatever the size, it will be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got a big fire pit as well. So at the end of the night, there's a big fire pit there so people can sit around, play the guitars.
Are people going to be providing great organic or biodynamic food there?
Well, we have, yeah. We've actually got, 5 foods? Is it 5 food stalls?
Food stalls. One of them will be our cafe, which will be selling teas and coffees and cakes. And then we've got one of the food stalls is a lovely story, actually. We collaborated with We Are Humans charity, which is a charity which helps homeless people. They go out on the streets feeding, giving out sleeping bags. Lovely, lovely charity. And one of the guys that runs it is on our page with his thinking. And we did a Matt Hoy gig where we raised money for them and for our BCA. And we've invited them to come as a food stall to raise money for their charity, which is a lovely thing. Can't promise that their food will be organic. It'll be good though.
Yeah,
It'll be good food. We've got vegetarian and vegan stalls. We've got curry stall. We've got pizzas. So all sorts. And yeah, some of it will be fresh and organic. Definitely.
Yeah. It has to be for the clientele of what we're wanting to bring in. You have to have that.
We have an allotment where we're growing. We're getting ready to grow seeds. So maybe, fingers crossed, some of our veg from our allotment will make it to the festivals. We'll see. If we're green fingered enough.
Yeah. And then obviously we've got your stall there as well, which is going to be selling supplements.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's going on with your stall? If you can explain to people.
Well, we're going to be offering a few things there because I do a few different things. So I started a supplement company many, many years ago because I realized that nobody knows what to buy. You go into a health food store, the people working there, even though they might be most well-meaning, lovely people, generally speaking, don't know one brand from another. They only know what the salesperson has told them to a large degree. So most people are totally confused. The bigger the choice, the more confused they are. So I thought, right, well, I'll start a supplement company that just sells the best stuff. Forget anything that half works. If I'm going to put my name to it, I'm going to just choose the best. Yeah, it might be more expensive or not, but nevertheless, I just want to sell the best. So I got a supplement company, which is just my name, clive-to-carle.com, and we're going to be bringing a bundle of supplements up there, and we can talk a little bit about we can help people understand them. But hopefully, if people come to my talk, then I'll talk them through how to be well. My story is that 38 years ago, maybe 39 now, I took an antibiotic, and basically I was in hospital, and they said there's nothing that can be done. By that point, I could barely walk, and I was in a really bad way, and I fixed myself. I had arthritis so badly I couldn't get dressed. I was in a real mess. I was only about 31, and I changed my diet a little bit, but I took supplements. I took magnesium and vitamin C and stuff that everybody knows about pretty much. And all the arthritis went away, and I'm fine. So so that's the supplement company. Then back in 2014, I was working with the UK column, and the government said to us that if we don't take all our videos down, they'll fine us up to £250,000. We had 24 hours to do it. I wouldn't have taken them down because at that much point I didn't have any money, so it really was irrelevant if they could find me whatever they liked. There was nothing to take. But UK Column decided it was safer to take it down, and luckily the response from their viewers was so huge that the government basically had to give way. But anyway, because I got taken off YouTube, it took ages to put all the videos back. I started a private club called secrethealthclub.com. So on secrethealthclub.com, over the last 10 years or so, myself and I have a couple of people helping me, we've put together an A to Z of, here are people's health problems, here are some articles and loads of videos. Well, not loads, there are specific ones that really guide you to what I feel is the way to go. So it's an A to Z of answers, really. And how the Secret Health Club works is that if you can afford it, it's a pay-to-join membership. If you can't afford it, then all you've got to do is send me an email and saying what you can afford. If you can't afford anything at all, then I'll give you a membership for free. That's basically how it works.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
That's pretty much what in a way, what we do at the Bournemouth Community Assembly. We say it's donations, but if you can't afford a donation, just come along anyway. So then you're able to get some advice, or hopefully some more extra friends as well.
Yes, I mean, obviously information should be freely shared, but if you've got staff to pay, well, you've got to make some money somehow. But
well, this is it, yeah. Everyone within this whole movement, it's quite a funny movement because people believe that everything should be free, but at the same time, the world isn't free at the moment, and you still have to pay for staff, you still have to pay for rooms, you still have to pay for land. So yeah, if you can pay, if you can pay something, happy days. If not, then not to worry. I mean, with the festival, going back to that, we've done like a split payment thing to try and help people out because we know that it can be like a one-off payments can be quite expensive for people. But we've done a split payment on what is it? What's that? Karma. It's interest free for people, but we do try and help out as much as possible with that side of things.
And we have volunteer options. So we've got, if you know us, we can arrange for people to volunteer for free because we know that they're going to turn up. But if people want to, if they don't know us, they can pay for a ticket up front and we'll refund when they've done their shifts, because we just need to make sure people turn up, because we know in the past that people have bought tickets and not done their shift. And we have had people asking us, because we're on an early bird price at the moment, so it's a good time to buy tickets, and we kept the very first early bird quite low. People have been emailing to say, why is it this much money? And the answer to that is because when you're organising an event such as this, there are a lot of costs involved. We've gone down the open route, so we're being very open with the council and trying to work with them and getting permission and licenses and everything. There are two different ways to go down that route this first year, and then maybe in years to come we might try a different method in order to try and keep the price down. But we've got to do it properly so that they've got no reason to shut us down, because we don't want people coming in halfway through the festival saying you can't do this. So we're trying to liaise and mediate with everybody and just being as transparent as we possibly can be, to keep everything above board. So we've got security, proper first aid, health and safety will come and check us on the very first day and then hopefully go away and leave us alone and let us be. But it's just so that we keep everybody safe. There's going to be alcohol there, so we want, and it's also very family friendly. So when you've got that mix, you need to make sure that people are being responsible. We want everyone to have a really good time, but we also want the kids to feel safe and comfortable and looked after. So it's getting that balance. Yeah.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
I mean,
The other thing I'll be bringing is my sort of third interest is with old healing devices. You know, Nikola Tesla, who a lot of people will know about, invented 3 healing devices in the 1880s, 1890s, and they've just been lost. They were super popular at the turn of the last century, and dentists were using them. You know, I've got ones that came out of hospitals. They were everywhere, ubiquitous. And then when drugs took over the press, you know, nobody wanted granddad's old electrical device. You know, who'd want that when you can just get a nice shiny pill? So basically, for the last 20 years or so, I've been super interested in these bits of tech, and basically I restore them and get them back into real working order. And if people look at the Secret Health Club, for instance, they'll see me get 34 people out of pain in a row in less than 5 minutes each.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
People knew about this 100 years ago.
I heard a story that you were at an event and someone fell off the stage and hurt their knee, and they were going to go to hospital, but you put them in one of your machines and helped them heal. Is that right?
Well, the latest one, I was having lunch with Matt Letitia, and we were going to do some filming. And actually, no, the time before I met him, and he was limping. I said, what's happened? He said, it was some sort of golfing thing that he'd done, and he'd been limping for 3 weeks. So I spent less than 5 minutes on his knee, fixed it, and it was, fixed for good. It didn't come back.
Wow, fantastic.
With a piece of machinery from 100 years ago. So I should say that we're currently offering treatments to people if they want to come to our tiny little clinic. And again, if people want to write to me, they can write at info@Clive to Carle. Treatments aren't necessarily inexpensive, but they can try we've got this pulse pressure wave chair, which is incredible. And if anybody's in pain, particularly chronic pain, the device is, if you're in acute pain, you just cut your arm open. Well, that's going to hurt for a while, no matter how much machinery. You could probably make it heal quicker, but it's not going to get you out of pain. But that's that chronic thing. Oh, I've had the shoulder ache for years now, that sort of thing. And what it often is the body just needs literally the energy to get better. So the cells can be sort of hanging on for dear life. But you spend seconds or minutes pumping, if you like, pure energy in. And Tesla was the greatest scientific genius ever. It works, not every time, but when it doesn't work, I'm surprised. It's quite good for hearing. It'd be quite good for sinus blockages. A number of things that it does really well, then some that sometimes it's a miracle, and more often than not it doesn't work. It depends, but pain relief is its big thing. So I'm going to bring a couple of machines up, and I won't need a queue of 300 people in pain, but nevertheless, if people are in a desperate state, I'm going to take a couple of. So I'm going to take a couple of people with me to help me with the devices. So that will be available, assuming you can provide me with power.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We heard you were bringing your own generator.
No, this is not the case.
Oh, okay. That's what we heard from Lou.
Yeah, no, that's not the case.
That's right. We'll have to have a chat then and see how much power you draw. It depends on how our
Not very much. The devices only use about 50 watts each, so it's not a lot.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we will add it. We'll add it onto our site plan, because obviously each generator will be fed through the stages and everything else. So as long as we're able to map it out and put you into a location where you're going to get the power that will be a steady power, and not fluctuate, because otherwise that will be an issue with your equipment.
Yeah, I've got a 3 kilowatt battery pack, but at the moment it's stopped working and I've got to send it back. But you know, that would keep me going for a long time. I might not even need power, but it would be useful, particularly for a bit of lighting.
Right. Okay. That's maybe what Lou meant.
That's probably what she meant.
Yeah, it's probably what she meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just want to make sure that nothing, because obviously when you're in the middle of a field and you've got people drawing on energies from all different points, if they all draw at the same time, that's when you can,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
things won't shut down because we'll have people who know what they're doing to help. But we just
Well, hopefully my battery pack will be fixed by that.
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, if that's all the energy it needs, if a battery pack does it, then that's
Well, it's a big one, it weighs a lot. But I mean, it's silent, whereas generators are just horrible.
Yeah.
If they're little ones, if they're big ones tucked away, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, luckily the ones that we're going to be getting are quite well. The class is silent, so it's not silent. Nothing's ever silent, but it would just be a quiet hum. So it's not one of those.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, some of the modern ones are fantastic.
Yeah, they're really good, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was really excited to hear that because I think that's the whole point of what we've been going through these past years, is fighting for the right to be able to explore these paths, these alternative paths of healing. I think for many of us, you know, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I suffered from depression, postnatal depression, when I had my second child. And my own mother was put on a course of antidepressants and then stronger and stronger medication. And sadly, she ended up taking her life. And my grandfather was in a similar position and had lobotomy and died. So you can see this.
Oh.
I had my own journey of healing, and I could see at that point my life being mapped out and the consequences of it. And I did not want to go down the same path. So from that point, I went on an alternative journey to heal myself, much like you. And, you know, having spent 20, 30 years trying to avoid taking medication to then be told by the government that I had to put this medicine in me, you know, and when I've got this really sort of finely tuned system now, nervous system, which I know what's good and what's bad for me. It's taken me a long time to figure it out, and I've kept myself well for many, many years. And I'm just not going to go down that route and risk putting something in my body that would upset that. That's 20 or 30 years of work. And I think there are many people in that situation. We've got to fight for the right to be able to decide those things. Because if you are on a path, you know your body, you know what's good and what's bad for it. And I think we need to keep those decisions, you know, because not all of us want to be told what to do by somebody, you know, especially if we've researched ourselves and you know, the wealth of knowledge out there is amazing. It's like it's always been forgotten almost in this generation, and we need to bring it back.
Well, you know, most of what I explain to people is old knowledge. It's not like it's new. I mean, when you were depressed, what that really was surely is one of two things: either toxic poisoning because maybe the doctors injected something nasty into you or something, or malnutrition. You know, you didn't have enough nutrients to support your mental health. You know, vitamin B3 is the ultimate answer for mental health.
Yeah.
For most people, reverses or can reverse schizophrenia and manic depression, bipolar, you know, in a fortnight.
Yeah.
And the doctors have known about vitamin B3 since about 1938, but very few medical doctors actually followed it up because they weren't taught it. You know, after the Second World War, they stopped teaching anything useful at all, as far as I can tell.
It's not just that, they can't make any money from them either, can they?
Well, exactly. Of course,
Yeah,
it's all
that's the
about
main thing. Money matters. Money talks with all those people. Whereas if you're dealing with like the equipment that you were saying, which has been around for 100 years, which can do the same thing, but it doesn't cost anything. Well, obviously the item does.
I'm hoping that my machines, once they're restored, will last another, few decades.
Well, I'm sure they would.
They're expensive at the time. They're obviously, so they were made to last. What I'd like to add is that anybody who has a community going should consider buying one, because 5 minutes treatment is often all you need. And one machine can go around an awful lot of people. Something around an old people's home or something, absolutely ideal.
Yeah. So do you have this vision, Clive, of the future of communities sort of really healing themselves using this? Because obviously if we get to this situation in the future, we don't know what the future of the NHS is. Not that many of us will use it unless we have to. But it is this situation where we might need to be self-medicate and form our own sort of health hubs in our communities and treat each other. Do you see that as a future possible?
Well, I've no idea what the future is going to hold at all, although I'm relentlessly optimistic. But at the same time, our ancestors not long ago knew how to keep the entire family healthy. They knew how to get rid of worms and parasites. They knew the whole spectrum of what to eat, well, mainly because they didn't have much choice. They had to grow it or pick it or forage it, or it was all so obvious that you ate what was there. And in winter, when nothing was growing, you relied on animals primarily, or that phrase, there's always fish in the sea. Fish will keep you going no matter what the weather. So it's unfortunate that most people are accidentally putting themselves in a state of serious malnutrition by eating ultra-processed foods. When a food's dry, it's not food. Food is wet in general. It often has skin on it, runs around sometimes. So if it's dry, it keeps pretty much forever. And a lot of people are eating dried foods. One of the latest tricks in America, they've just, for instance, the Food and Drug Administration have said you can only have so much preservatives in your fast foods per serving. So what the manufacturers have done is they reduced the serving size down to a third of what it was before.
Oh.
And so, you think of a child who eats a bowl of cereal, right? If you look at the serving size, it's usually 30 grams, which is about 1 ounce, which is not very much. Most children who are like 8 could probably eat 5 adult portions.
Yeah.
So, they're getting way more nasties than they think. Particularly if it's fortified with iron and the B vitamins. And if you see anything that says it's fortified, avoid it like the plague, because they fortify it with the bad stuff. So what I want to do, over the long weekend, is if people want to come to my talk, try and explain how to recover from everything, if you need to recover from something, and if not, how to just learn the basics so you can treat other people. Because what I explain actually isn't complicated. Medicine is massively complicated. You've got to learn all sorts of stuff. But what I teach, the more I study, the simpler it is, because everybody is basically low. Any number would work, but you could say basically people are low on 9 things, primary things, which will fix 90% of most people's issues, right? And so I've got a pack that I sell, which I think is 128 quid or something, which has got all 9 things in. And I recommend, for the price of parking your car at the hospital car park for a day.
Yeah, just 1 day, yeah.
You could test it out, and if necessary, if that's too much money, you still share it between 2 people, and there's a good chance that you're going to notice stuff. It's not trying to be a sales pitch. When you realize that, in winter, how many people don't feel so good in winter? Well, there's no sun around, so most people are low on vitamin D. How much does vitamin D cost for a year? 20 quid, less. Iodine, or people with menopausal women, for instance, who are suffering from those menopause symptoms are probably low on iodine, probably also low on selenium. And it's massive. I've had people who said after a few days or a couple of weeks on the right iodine, the right amount, that the brain fog they'd had for years has suddenly lifted. And suddenly they're thinking clearly. People's dry skin clears up. Their thyroid problems diminish in many cases. I explained about magnesium and the fact that it can end arthritis. It can stop heart palpitations. It can cure constipation. It can stop those twitches around the eyes. It can stop muscle cramps when you stretch in the morning. A whole host of things. And so actually the basics aren't nearly as difficult as most people might imagine.
Yeah.
The more I study it, the more I can pick up on people's symptoms.
It's always overcomplicated. People overcomplicate things.
Well, herbs are fantastic, right? Essential oils are fantastic, but actually, before all that, people need to make sure they've got enough magnesium, that they've got enough sunshine or vitamin D, they've got enough vitamin C, because those basics are way more important for most people than all the herbs put together, if you see what I mean. Yes, the herbs can give you all those things, but figuring out which herbs and how much you need and what other effects those herbs might, So basically, going back to absolute basics, we're a bunch of minerals, We've got to think about the quality of the water we're drinking, which is an interesting thing for you, because I made a video last year. I got 3 glasses of tap water with chlorine in. First glass, I poured some chlorine indicator drops, like you test a swimming pool, and it went green. Perfect, chlorine. Second one, I put my fingers in for 5 seconds, pulled them out, put the chlorine indicator drops into the water, no green. Where had the chlorine gone? Third glass, I got a slice of raw potato, put it in for 3 seconds and pulled it out. Again, the chlorine had gone. Where had it gone? Had my fingers and the potato neutralized it? I don't think so. I think it went right into my fingers and right into that potato virtually instantly. So I'm hoping you're going to have some sort of filtration system, or it's spring water, or it's
we've actually got someone who's come up with a filtration system.
Great.
It's one of the ones that they use in, is it Japan?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they use
Kanga water. It's called.
Kanga water, that's
Yeah.
right.
Kangen is not going to be good for 3,000 people. You're going to need, several hundred Kangen machines.
No, this is in the cafe, but she's going to do her best for people that really want it.
What about the hose for people who want to fill up their water?
We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, that's something that we are looking into anyway. So
well, after I did that experiment, I knew before, but after I made that video, it really brought home to me, okay, you have a bath or a shower.
Well, yeah, it's everywhere.
But I mean, what if all the chlorine in the bath has got sucked in? Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but it's super important that people realize that water filters can be quite cheap. I've got one on my website which uses vitamin C. If you're going to have a bath and it's chlorinated and you can't filter it, get a teaspoonful of vitamin C powder, put it in the bath. It will neutralize the chlorine, just like borax will neutralize fluoride in the bath. But with a shower filter, I don't know how much they cost. They're not cheap. They're about 40 quid, but you can get other ones online that work in different principles that are 10 quid. But if you filter your water, you will benefit. Chlorine is a poisonous gas.
I didn't realize that vitamin C would be able to eradicate them.
Yeah, neutralizes chlorine. Vitamin C is very powerful.
When you say vitamin C powder, is that the same as citric acid, or is it a different?
No, citric acid is citric acid. What most people think of as vitamin C powder would be ascorbic acid.
Right, okay.
That's the one, and it's got a sort of sharp taste. But there are other types there are other types of vitamin C, but ascorbic acid is the cheap one, the one that I like. You just want to make sure that it says non-GMO on the label.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't say non-GMO, it probably will be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly fight over the water distiller.
Yeah.
Steve's got my water distiller at the moment. I want it back.
Yeah.
So he's broke, so he's borrowing mine.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're very conscious ourselves of the water we drink. So we're
Yeah.
aware that it's, yeah, we've also, as part of the BCA, we've had members go to the water board down here to ask questions about their cleansing system and how they, and to get them to test our local water to show the levels. And shockingly, even with they've gone down and shown that the water is full of pollutants and the levels, shockingly they're still within the legal limit that they can pump out.
Legal.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The first question to ask the water board is there any water from the water recycling treatment plant in my drinking water, yes or no? And if it's yes, then you're dealing with the antibiotics, the birth control pills and everything. Disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, but what are these guys drinking? That's what I don't understand. They're head of the company of the water of, let's say, Wessex Water, and we've gone in there, we've shown them that this is what your water produces. So they still have to bath in it, they still have to shower in it, they still drink to a certain extent that same water.
Well, maybe, but you can buy a whole house filter for under £1,000.
Right.
A lot of do that.
Yeah.
You're just breaking up a bit, Carl, Clive, there.
Yeah, sorry, somebody's trying to ring me.
Okay.
So yeah, it just astounds me that these guys are quite happy for this the water to be pumped out the way it is.
Psychopaths will be psychopaths, they can't help it, poor things.
Yeah. I mean, every year they pump out raw sewage into the ocean.
When Britain in the early Victorian age wanted to put in sewers, the government put it out to tender, and the original system was to do it naturally by treating it properly and spreading it on the land. But it's 20% cheaper if they dumped it in the rivers and seas. So they did that because they're a government.
And they get a fine, which works out for them. It works out for them better to pump it out into the ocean than it is to actually do it properly.
Because the fine isn't really inconsequential to them.
Yeah.
Really,
Well, of course, it's the same with the drug companies. They make 600 million, get fined 20 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But how powerful would it be if people just stopped using those facilities?
Yeah. Well, if people realise how easy it is to be well, generally speaking, and it's going to cost you money, but not necessarily that much.